And Daniels, we told you about. It certainly was not his best night. Richard, this is a disappointing loss any way you shake it. Give A&M credit. They did not quit. They came into this game, we said they could go one of two ways. They could play it like it was their bowl game, and they could give it an unbelievable effort and play out of their minds, or they could pack it in and wait for the clock to hit 0 before they hit the exit. It was the former. Every way that you can shake it. The crowd was there. They were absent last week. They had no interest in watching this team play UMass. I don't blame them, but they were there tonight. A&M gave them plenty to root for, and they simply never let LSU get into a groove here. Maybe if the fumble doesn't happen, LSU goes down the field and scores there, it's a different game. But every time LSU seemed to be gaining some momentum and getting to a rhythm, A&M just shut it down.
There's no doubt. I mean, A&M came out early, and they were running the ball good. They took control of the line of scrimmage. They went down there and scored on their first opportunity. And LSU had a few drives that were ended by drops. I thought Jaden Daniels started off really well. We were moving the ball. Kyron Lacey had a drop on the first drive of the game to end on the third down. The third drive, 3rd and 2, he had another drop. And, A&M did not let off in the first half. And it's the first game of the year, maybe outside of Florida State, where our defense was kind of letting us down. We could not get them out. They started off 4 for 4 on 3rd downs, and it was just a struggle. We had a little bit of hope in the second half. We get a 3 and out on the first drive, a 3 and out on the second drive, and then we had the fumble that kind of pretty much derailed the game.
I thought it was LSU's toughest defensive performance of the year. The one against Florida State had some similarities, particularly the third down conversions. They were 7 out of 11 in the first game against Florida State, or Florida State was. Tonight, 10 out of 15 and 1 out of 1 on 4th down. So go ahead and count that one, too. That's 11 out of 16 conversions. You're having a hard time getting off the field. And this was, look, for all of the criticism that he's taken, and a lot of it, most of it, in fact, has probably been warranted. This was Jimbo Fisher's kind of game. He wants to control the game with a power running game, play action passes, be physical, shove it down your throat. And it simply hasn't worked very well for A&M most of the year. Their offensive line, young, and it has been riddled by injuries. They've had to change quarterbacks multiple times. Achane has missed the last couple of games. But tonight, this was everything. If you take out of Jimbo Fisher's head the perfect way to execute a game, you put on tonight's game.
No, tonight's what he wants to do. He wants to have a power run game. He wants to play action pass. And if you go back and look at everything he did, they rushed 49 times for 274 yards. Like you said, 5.5 a carry. And when you're 12 of 18, I think it was, for 2 touchdowns, he didn't have to do much in the passing game. They controlled it with the run game, and they controlled it from the first drive on.
They made some big plays when they needed to in the passing game. There weren't a ton of them, but they made enough. Moose Muhammad made 2 big unbelievable catches. Not just the touchdown pass, but also the second grab that was a key first down late in the ball game. So you have to give A&M credit for making the plays when they absolutely had to. The conversions that extended drives. They stayed ahead of the sticks. You didn't see a lot of negative plays for LSU, a lot of tackles for losses that would give A&M a whole lot of problems if they got behind the chains. They never seemed to have that tonight.
No, it's a night when we talk about what A&M wants to do and what Jimbo wants to do, they controlled the line of scrimmage. We've been fortunate enough where our D-line's played really well early on. We've gotten the backfield a lot. But tonight, I don't know what it was scheme-wise, but they controlled the line of scrimmage. They controlled the flow of the game, and they were pretty much in control from start to finish.
Brian Kelly said in the postgame, we'll have this audio a little bit later in the postgame, but I'm going to paraphrase just a little bit here, said they know what happened, meaning that his team knew what happened. You picked up on that right away.
There's no doubt, because I watch a lot of the press conferences he does, and he mentioned earlier in the week that they did not start the week off strong. He said that we didn't have our best practice Tuesday. Wednesday was okay. We had a good practice on Thursday. So when he says that to me, is the focus wasn't there all week long. He's already mentioned to the media once that we did not practice well on Tuesday, and we struggled on Wednesday. We kind of brought things along on Thursday. When he opens up the post-game speech or the post-game conference saying that the team knows what happened, I don't need to get into it. We know what happened tonight. You're talking about preparation.
Yeah, you're indicating he saw this coming.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
Did you, when you were playing, did you know after bad practices, we may be in a little bit of trouble here?
One bad practice you can get past. When you have back-to-back bad practices, it's something where you're like, okay, the focus isn't there. You need to get it reevaluated on Thursday and get everybody refocused. But when guys are not all the way in, and it's something that's really tough to bring back together.
LSU is still the Western Division champion. They still will go to Atlanta next week with a chance to win the Southeastern Conference Championship. This season has been a success by any measure. This is an awfully bitter pill to swallow going into the SEC championship game, because now LSU will not be playing in the college football playoff. Certainly something that none of us expected at the beginning of the season, but boy, when you open that door and it's right there, you certainly wanted an opportunity. Some of the other things that happened in college football today would have opened the door for LSU probably to go in had they won next week. That is off the table. The SEC championship is not. They get an opportunity to refocus, go back, and put a stamp on the end of this season next week in Atlanta. But tonight, it was not LSU's night. A&M just simply outplayed LSU really from start to finish in this game. It wasn't that LSU got completely blown out of Kyle Field, but boy, you never felt like they were ever in a they were never in a control position in this game.
No, it definitely felt like A&M was the better team on the field all night long. Yeah. They came out, they manhandled the line of scrimmage. Anytime you rush for 274 yards, averaging 5.5 a carry, you're getting control. You're maintaining the momentum of the offense. And, they just never lit up. The quarterback played well, 12-18, like I said, 2 touchdowns. He didn't have to throw the ball around with what they were doing. But it just seems like every time we had a chance to get back in it, we made a mistake. The 2 drops early on, they killed the first drive, killed the third drive, and then you have the fumble coming out on the second drive of the second half. It's just every time we had a chance to take over, get the lead, and regain momentum, something happened and we didn't make the play.
499-9898 is the number to call on the LaBerge hotline. We'll take your phone calls, and we'll get started when we come back. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 game day. Texas A&M wins it by a score of 38-23. 499-9898 is the number on the LaBerge hotline. Jeff in New Mexico is first. Jeff, welcome into the show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, Jeff.
Hey, I got a couple things for you. When LSU scored, why go for 2 at that point unless I'm missing something?
Yeah, we didn't understand that either. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if Kelly addressed it in the press conference. We just got the audio. We're going to play a little bit of it later on in the show, but I didn't get an explanation on that. The math doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I didn't get that one either.
No, that's the first thing I questioned when I looked up. I was trying to say, why did they go for 2 right there?
Yeah, we don't. The math didn't really work out there for us either. So I don't have a good answer for you.
Okay, and secondly, any sane person didn't think LSU was going to be in this situation, playing for the SEC championship, much less 2 weeks ago clinching it. So knowing what they're playing for, if they win out, they possibly are going to the playoffs. Who do you put this on the players just not having enough energy, or the coaches not getting them ready? Let's go, Brandon.
You know, this team, I thought, the last 2 weeks they showed a lot of maturity. Coming off that Alabama win and going to Arkansas, the early morning start, the cold weather, the whole deal, it was set up for LSU to come out and, potentially lose that game. And they didn't have their best stuff, but they won. And then last week I thought they were sharp in what could have easily been a sloppily played game. So based on, those performances plus, what they did against Alabama and Ole Miss, I expected them to be focused again tonight. They clearly weren't. No. It's tough, Rich, to sometimes deal with success, and maybe we call a putt a little bit early.
I'm not even going that far to as you look at the stat sheet. They didn't play terrible tonight. They didn't make the big play. They had bad situations. They didn't convert 2 third downs. They got a bad fumble on it. They had a couple bad penalties. The 5 or 7 plays went the opposite way tonight.
The opportunity to get off the field on third down.
That's what kills us. When you start the game going 5 for 5 on third down, you can't get that defense off the field. We're getting, we're dropping balls on 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 5 when we should have converted and kept the defense off the field. We just didn't make the plays tonight, and it's not like we didn't make plays all night. Like we missed 5 to 7 plays in the game that would have kept us there.
499, and look, listen, I'm sure we'll get some more of this tonight. This season has been a success.
It's a success.
This season has been a success. Tonight stunk, okay? I mean, and nobody wants to end the regular season on a losing note. I know that this game in particular means a lot. I got asked this morning. I do a show in Lafayette or a show in New Orleans, actually, with a show in Lafayette. But the show in New Orleans asked me this morning, who's LSU's chief rival? And I said, they don't have one. It's whoever – the biggest game LSU plays in any given year is whoever happens to be the best team on their schedule that year. For most of the last decade, that's been Alabama. Yeah. When you were in school, it was mostly Florida. Yeah. Okay, there were times in the 90s where it was Auburn, and if you want to go back further than that, you want to go back into the the 60s. There were times where it was Ole Miss, and for a long time it was Tulane. But you got to go back 50 years for that. Right now, they don't have one because a rivalry's got to mean the same thing to both sides, okay? And it's got to be that one game you look forward to that no matter what else happens, that you're going for. LSU doesn't have that, okay? Is the Alabama game a great game? Yes, but ask any Alabama fan who their rival is. They'll tell you that it's Auburn. Ask Ole Miss or Mississippi State. They're rivals with each other. But every LSU fan seems to have that one team that for their own personal reasons they don't particularly care for. Mine is Alabama. I'm pretty much on the record with that. Our good friend Hunt Palmer, who went to great lengths this week in great humor, it happens to be this one. You're from Mississippi, but even with that, you have as many friends and acquaintances and colleagues that are in the Houston area or Texas A&M alumni or backers that this game means something to you too. There seem to be a lot of people like that. That's why this one stings, because A&M, for a long time, this is a rivalry. It's a rivalry. LSU fan, no, not really, but you still got to live with them.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It became a big rivalry once they got in the SEC, and for all purposes, there's a lot of A&M people in Baton Rouge. There's a lot of LSU guys down in the Houston area, and it's grown to it. And with Jimbo going there, being a former LSU coach, it's growing there. And this one hurts. This one bothers me because I got to deal with it at work for the next couple of weeks.
Right, you do.
When I look at it as a whole, I mean, this was a great season. I mean, just to be where we are, to come out there, when we're predicted to win 4 games, 5 games, depending on who you did, and the way this team grew all year long, I mean, this is on coaching. The coaching they coached a hell of a season. They got better every single week, and, we fell short tonight.
Yeah, this wasn't their night, but
give credit to A&M. A&M played their best game all year long.
They did.
It was the best game I've watched at A&M. I've watched a lot of A&M football. They played lights out tonight.
They were.
They played good.
Jimbo Fisher, this was his night, and it's been a really tough season for them. But by anybody's measure, 9-3 is way above what they were expected. Let's take the bias out of it. The Vegas guys said 6.5 or 7.
Yeah.
Okay, you exceeded that greatly, and your chances of going even with a 9-3 record and 6-2 in the conference to the SEC championship game. That required you to beat Alabama, because if you had lost to Alabama and won this game going the same 6-2, you're not going to Atlanta next week. So you had to win that game. That's still a heady accomplishment.
There's no doubt.
Charlie in Lafayette is next. Charlie, welcome into the show.
Yeah, you guys, I got to hand it to you. You nailed everything you said is right, and I think I'm happy with the season. I remember how you said you didn't worry about the record this year to see how they progressed. So that's been good. Tonight is very disappointing. I have a question, and then I'm going to explain why they went for 2, because I heard it on Hunt. Do you think LSU could still make even if they don't win next week, a New Year's Six Bowl one? And the way Hunt explained it, he got the analytics. The reason he went, one of the explanations, you go for 2 and you make it. If you go for 2 and you make it, you still, if A&M goes down and kicks a field goal, you still have a chance to win, outside shot to win, which is the analytics. I don't necessarily agree with it. That was the explanation on Hunt's show. So I want to give that to you. But really, I'm proud of the team, even though tonight didn't go their way. I hope they can get to a New Year's Six Bowl, even if they don't win next week, but there's still a chance to play for a championship, and they did win a championship. So y'all really started off the show with a bang. You nailed everything. I couldn't disagree with anything you said.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. They can analytics me from here to the end of the earth, and I'm not going for 2 there. But que sera, it ended up not making a difference. The New Year's Six Bowl is difficult if you lose next week, because you've got 4 losses, and under that scenario, Georgia gets to the playoff. For the moment, I'm going to assume that Alabama is not going to make the playoff. USC won tonight. So if they win the Pac-12 championship game, that puts them in. And TCU, who won today, if they win the Big 12 championship, they're in. So if those 2 teams are in, along with Georgia and Michigan, we're assuming under this scenario that LSU loses next week, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and USC probably in that order. And then you have 2 other SEC teams that have 2 fewer losses than you do, meaning that they're going to be ranked in front of you. Tennessee won big today. They're 10-2, even without Hendon Hooker. And if the committee docks Tennessee because Hendon Hooker is hurt, shame on the committee. I'm not telling you they won't, but if they do, shame on them. the two teams ranked in front of LSU will probably go to New Year's Six bowls, and I would think LSU slides down to one of the bowls in Florida. That's just my best guess if they were to lose to Georgia now. I mean, two more losses it's
tough to get past.
That's a big deal. I mean, even though you beat Alabama, I mean, if they're 10-2 and you're 9-4, I mean, come on, there's no argument there.
No, there's no argument. And then you're looking at the Tennessee game. Okay, the other two-loss team that housed you on your field.
Yeah, the 10-2 is enough. Besides the fact that they beat you.
It's just going to be really tough. I mean, the only way I see it happen is you got to go in and get the win against Georgia.
Yeah, and then at that point, then you're in. Yeah, then you're in a New Year's Six bowl at that point. 499-9898 is the number to call. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. LSU drops a 38-23 contest at Texas A&M. 499-9898 is the number on the LaBerge hotline. Keaton in Birmingham is next. Keaton, welcome in the show.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, Keaton.
Man, my feelings are crushed. Oh, my God. This one hurt real bad. Man, the 2018 loss, I was having so many deja vu moments throughout this game of that moment. And I'm just as sick as that moment. Another potential 10-2 season ruined in College Station by a trash A&M team.
At least they ruined it before 1:30.
Yeah, we didn't have to wait 7 overtimes. Yeah, Keaton, here's the difference for me. In 2018, I thought LSU won the game multiple times, and just some of the screwiest officiating you've ever seen in your life. LSU got beat tonight.
No doubt.
There wasn't any bad officiating. There wasn't any bad calls. I don't even know that you can get on LSU's play calling or schematics or anything. They just got beat. They just got whooped. I don't know if that makes it easier or harder for you to deal with. They just got beat.
Man, I just had my newborn Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. This is his first day home. I'm sitting there holding this man, looking at the game, crushed. Thank God for Wingspot. Chicken is the only thing that can heal me after a painful loss.
Keaton, God bless you and your newborn son. You said newborn son. Good.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
I'll tell you, I'm waiting on my wife to go into labor right now, and I was kind of hoping it happened before the show started, but we're going to enjoy it.
Richard doesn't know I turned his phone off.
Yeah.
His wife's not allowed to go into labor until tomorrow morning sometimes. Keaton, thank you for the call. Who's next? Ryan is in New Iberia. Ryan, welcome in the show.
Yeah, thanks for taking the call, guys. I have a few comments. First of all, hats off to LSU, the coaches. Good season, and as the previous caller just said, I lived through 2018. I work at oil and gas. I was actually in Nigeria for the ridiculous game, the 7 overtimes, whatever it was, with a whole bunch of Texas A&M engineers, and I had to live through that because they wouldn't admit we beat them about 2 or 3 times in that game.
Ryan, what time was it in Nigeria? Because Richard and I were doing the post game that night, and we were here till 1-something in the morning before we even got started.
Yeah.
What time was it in Nigeria when you were watching?
Hell, man, it must kill my language. It might have been 4 in the morning or something like that.
Okay.
But and I was with like 3 guys, good guys, A&M engineers. That's why I really have a lot of love for A&M. Real arrogance, never done that since 1934. So we know that, and I had to live through that with them guys. They wouldn't admit that we beat them about 2 or 3 times that game, But like I said, successful season, I think. And who was to blame in this game? I got to put it on the players, for not showing up, because I'm more than sure Brian Kelly probably was preaching to them all week long. How important this game was, because like you guys said earlier, we lose this game, and if we lose to Georgia, then all of a sudden everything we did is kind of whitewash. It's nothing now, because it don't look that good at the end of the season, But my question is to you guys: do you think A&M allowed Daniels to run around that much, maybe kind of blanket our receivers and let them run around that much? Keep that a lot of running tonight, And I was wondering if that was maybe their game plan. Well, let him run around, and if he got to run the ball that many times, they can't beat us. But he ran around a lot tonight and held on to the ball. And I was just wondering if with you guys,
Ryan,
insight, if you think anything like that.
We were talking about that. We don't watch it on TV. We can't see what kind of separation the receivers had. Jaden Daniels ran for 84 yards tonight, but it didn't feel like these were really effective runs that really influenced the ball game like a lot of his other runs have. To me, it seemed more like A&M was concentrated on keeping him contained because they didn't feel like he could hurt them throwing the ball down the field from the pocket, Rich.
No, to me, I really feel like they still spied him, and they were worried about that early on in the game. Once they got a 2-score lead, they weren't worried about the quarterback. And if you go back and look at the stat sheet, I would say that most of his yards came in the second half after they got up big. He started making a few plays in the end. But, they just played a great game tonight. I mean, we didn't convert big-time plays. We made mistakes. We made drops. We had the fumble. And outside of that, every other drive was moving outside of maybe 2.
And, Ryan, I'll disagree with one thing. this season to me will be labeled a success, no matter how it ends. Let's go worst case scenario here. They lose to Georgia next weekend. They lose the bowl game. They finish 9-5.
SEC runner-up.
Yeah, you're still a Western Division champion.
Yeah.
You still won 9 games, which was at least 2, if not 3 more than you were supposed to. You beat Alabama. You beat Florida. You beat Auburn. The number of seasons that LSU's beaten those 3 teams, and 2 of them on the road, you can count them on probably 2 hands in LSU history. So, listen, if it ends on a disappointing note, if it ends on a disappointing note, I'll still look at this as far more positive a season than, maybe what happened at the end. And I don't know that it's going to end that way. They could lose next week and win a bowl game. They could win next week. We were talking during the time between the end of the game and the start of the post game that wouldn't it be just like them to throw in a big effort next week and pull a big upset? It could happen. It probably won't. I mean, Georgia's better, but Georgia's not unbeatable either.
No, they're definitely not unbeatable. I mean, it's a very winnable game. And, I hate to say that we put the loss on the players. Nobody takes a loss worse than the players. I mean, nobody wants to go out there and lose the game. Those guys fought. And they didn't make the plays when they needed to make them. And some nights you have those nights, and, you had a lot of big plays. John Emery, I thought, played one of his best games tonight. I thought Jaden Daniels played well outside of maybe 5 snaps. And it was just one of those nights where we could not make the plays when we needed to make them. And give credit to A&M. They played like a top 25 team tonight.
I agree, especially as far as this was a team loss. Players and coach. Kelly pretty much said that. The big play, the big turning point in the third quarter where Daniels fumbles and it's a scoop and score. That's a massive
We
play.
just had 2 3-and-outs. We scored on the first opportunity. We're driving again, and that was a heartbreaker.
But it wasn't the only reason LSU lost the game. Listen, they could have gone down and scored right there. I'm not sure they would have stopped A&M on the next possession. I mean, when you convert that many 3rd down and 4th downs, when you rush the ball as well as A&M did, I'm sorry, but I can't. I can't just say, well, if LSU scores there and they go up 24-17 instead of falling behind 24-17, that they take it home from there. They had played too porous defensively. Yeah, the players didn't play as well as they could. Listen, we have lavished praise on Matt House all year, and rightfully so. He's made terrific adjustments. They have improved. He has had some emerging stars on that defense, and by all accounts, he's a fantastic coach. He didn't do anything in the second half to stunt A&M's momentum. Maybe it wasn't all on him, but whereas in some of these other games, if you're going to give him credit, we gave him credit in the Florida State games. Like, look, man, the 3rd down conversions were all up and down the field, but in the second half, gave LSU a chance to win. That didn't happen tonight. So this was a team loss.
A-Chain rushed for 100 in the first half. He rushed for 100 in the second half.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything defensively to make those stops.
499-9898 is the number to call. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. Texas A&M wins it tonight by a score of 38-23. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LaBerge hotline. Brian is in Texas. Brian, welcome into the show.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey. So, I'm actually driving back from the game. I was at the game, one of the few LSU fans in our section, and that was funny because there were like three other LSU fans next to us, so we kind of had a little island going there. But anyway, I just wanted to call and kind of mention something I saw. We had pretty good seats. We had mid-level seats. We could see the whole field, and I think I agree that it was a team loss, but I think what really turned the game around for A&M was that zone read 3rd and 1 call where we fumbled and they scooped and scored. I didn't really like that play call too much. I think that really kind of won the game for them because that just completely shifted the momentum to their direction. Another thing, obviously, we couldn't stop Devin A-Chain. I mean, he just, a lot of creative run plays, much more creative than, I think we've seen from us. I mean, they kind of did a lot of stretches and, pulling guys to the right, to the left. And another thing, and this is kind of going back to what you guys were saying earlier about how the season's been a success. I agree, but I also think this. I think it's kind of been like a parabola. Like, we had really low lows and really high highs. Like, Ole Miss, Bama, and Florida were really high highs. But then I think starting with Arkansas, I've noticed that Jaden Daniels has regressed a little bit, I think, because – being at the game today, we can see the receivers run that, we can't see that on TV. And I saw guys running wide open, same situation I saw the first 3 games of the season. Jaden holding onto the ball too long. He had a lot of time. The offensive line played really, really well, I think, but he just held onto the ball too long. And, there was one play I remember where Kayshawn Butte was running wide open, like 30 yards down the field, and Jaden, just held the ball and, almost got sacked and threw it into the ground. And, the body language from Keyshawn, he took off his helmet, like, right in the middle of the way downfield, 40 yards, and it was just like deja vu, like the first 3 games of the year. So I feel like we're kind of going back in a way to, like, the old LSU the first 3 games of the year. I feel like Jaden's kind of regressing a little bit. I kind of wanted to get your comments on whether you think that that's true or not, if you think Jaden may be regressing a little bit, and just in general.
Okay.
So I think it's my call.
Thank you. All right, let me talk about let's talk about Daniels first, and I'll get back to the 3rd and 1 call. Rich, give me your thoughts on Daniels and his progression through the course of the season and through tonight.
I think Daniels is a good college football player. I don't think he's an elite passer. I think he's an average at best passer. And, me and Charlie were talking about that earlier. The offensive line did play great. They had a lot of time back there. He had a lot of times where he's sitting there for 3, 4, 5 seconds. But we can't see from the film on TV what the receivers are doing on field. And we talked about that. But it's, to me, not too much has changed. I mean, the running game wasn't there. You didn't have Josh Williams, who's been there all year long. He's been our workhorse on the ground. And we just did not catch the ball very well tonight. It was just a tough night all around.
All right, so the
3rd and 1 was a good call.
Yeah. So
Emery almost bumps his head on the field goal post. Bad decision.
The caller's telling us something that we couldn't see. He's telling us that their receivers run down. I'll take his word for it. So I'm going to tell him something that he probably couldn't see from the sideline, which was we got the end zone view of that. The call was fine. If Daniels hands the ball to Emery,
bad decision.
Yeah, he's going to make the first down. He may have broke it. He had a window as explosive as Emery was on his carries tonight. I got to score 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
On only 9 carries. He's going to make the first down with room to spare, and he might have broke it. So the call wasn't bad. Daniels, who has made so many good decisions on those plays this year, made a bad one that time. I'm not gonna crush the guy for that because he's made that play a lot of times. As a passer, I definitely thought that the turnovers got in his head at Arkansas. And I thought that he was fine last week. When he gets off and he gets on a roll, he's very good. When his confidence is rolling, like it was against Ole Miss, like it was against Alabama, he is as dangerous a player as there is in the Southeastern Conference. And when it's going bad, it can snowball the other way, and we've seen that. It's happened in a few games this year where something has gone wrong, a turnover, a bad play, what have you, and it does seem to shake his confidence. Now, whether it was the drops early that got in his head or whether it was the fact that, after the fumble, they found themselves in a hole, and maybe it was he just didn't feel like he turned the ball over again. There are times when things are not going well where his confidence seems to wane. He has a harder time playing through the rough patches when something goes against the offense. I don't know what you do about that other than you keep coaching it and he keeps playing. Do I think he has regressed since the beginning of the season? No, I think he's gotten better. Do I think he's played as well in the last 2 conference games as he played in the 2 before that? No, he hasn't. So was he better against Ole Miss and Alabama than he was against Arkansas and A&M? Absolutely. But in between there, he played a very good game against a non-conference team. So it's what's exciting and frustrating about Daniels at the same time is that he is capable of the spectacular, but when his confidence gets rattled a little bit, he seems to regress. He seems to kind of play hesitant. I don't want to use the word scared because nobody can run and take some of the hits that he runs. I don't think he's playing scared, but I will say he's playing hesitant to throw the ball down the field when things start to go against him.
Well, it seems like he gets tight. He doesn't want to make the next bad play. Tight's a good word.
Thank you.
He starts getting tight, and to me, like he passes the ball very well when everything's on schedule. When he has a 3-step drop and everything's good, he makes the pass. But when he has to improvise, his mechanics get out of whack, and he doesn't know how to slow it down and make that touch play. For the most part, once he starts scrambling, I'm thinking just go ahead and run. Because right now he does not make the touch passes on the scramble as well as we'd like to see.
The balls on the run, not all of them, but a lot of them, usually come out hot, and they have a tendency to sail on him a little bit.
Yeah, he starts throwing high. He gets out of rhythm, and he's one of those guys. And Brian Kelly talked about this a lot earlier in the season about how much they had to work with his mechanics. And he talked about earlier in the season against Florida State, he didn't have the mechanics right to make that pass against Alabama. And so I think it's still a work in progress. His mechanics is something he has to continue to work on because once he gets out and scrambling, he still has to get his shoulders downfield and make the same throw.
It's like pitchers when pitchers are mechanically off. Generally, not always, but generally, they miss high.
Yeah.
And something is out of whack. 499-9898 is the number to call. I want to get that clip if we could, Mike. This was Brian Kelly, and he was talking about his message to the team following tonight's game.
Yeah. Right. That this is hard, and they've been great all year. They've done incredible things. They've changed everything that they have known in terms of their routine and the way they think and their habits. And it's always great to have a marching band, right as you're going through it, especially after you lose a game. But you have to do it consistently. You have to. You can't just rely on talent. Talent's got to make plays. Traits have got to be present every single day, and when you flip the switch to performance, you've got to be able to bring those with you. And we just, for some reason, we're off today, and it's my job to get this team prepared, and I didn't get them prepared the way they needed to be today. They were off today, and I'm disappointed in that.
Richard, you've told this story before about how now this is an off-season story, but I think there's some parallels here. The summer before the 2007 season, when LSU won the national championship, and how the habits were in the summer, the workouts, the meetings, all of the bonding of the team, all of those things that you did to get prepared. And you like I said, you've told the story before. In the summer before 2008, it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So maybe this is an in-season analogy of that, hey, listen, they had gotten into a routine, doing things the way Kelly wanted them to do, the way the coaching staff, breaking old bad habits, building on new habits, building a culture, building all of those things, and then you get some success, and you think, well, I don't really have to do those things. I mean, that's what I heard from Brian Kelly tonight. But you've lived this. So.
Yeah, and there's no doubt when I talk about 07, it really builds off 06. We had the most talented team I played with in 06 and didn't get it done against 2 games, which cost us to get to our ultimate goal. In 07, we knew we had the players to do it, and we bought in January and February, and we built that all the way along. I think this team is working on it, and that's what Kelly wants from them. You're talking about a team that did it in August, not necessarily 6 months prior to build that. And they had a lot of they had ups and downs early in the season. They got a lot of success going, and it was just something tonight that it was just a hiccup in the schedule. Like I said, I'm excited about how the season's been. Everybody's happy for it. This night was disappointing, but it was just another bump in the road, like Brian Kelly said in the postgame.
These players are human, and as much as they will tell you publicly that they, block out the distractions and they don't pay attention to records and all that stuff, they knew A&M was 1-6. They knew that they had barely beat, they were ugly against UMass a week ago. They hadn't won a conference game since September. And, well, LSU's been winning. So you don't take it as seriously as possible as you need to. Kelly said, hey, listen, I understand what happened here. Like you said at the beginning of the show, it's almost he could see it coming. And I've been at this a while, and it never ceases to amaze me how sometimes I will miss the signs. And I didn't listen to any of that. I didn't think it was as serious. I thought that LSU would win this game. I thought that they would win this game by multiple scores. And look how wrong I was. Because sometimes despite what it looks like on paper from the outside, the prep's just not there. The 4 notes hit, the intensity's not there. You make a mistake. What have you? It's why we play college football. I would have never figured South Carolina could repeat that performance a week ago against Tennessee. But boy, they went into Clemson today. Now they won by 1 point instead of by 62-38 or whatever. But man, what a way to follow that up. Good for them. But it can just as easily go the other way.
You're dealing with 18 to 21-year-old guys that are really emotional ridden. And, you know, when things are going good, everybody's feeling good. And like you said, you know, everybody says block out the noise. You know who you're playing. You know what they're doing. You've seen tape on them when they look bad. And that can affect the way you think about a team. And it was very telling to me on Wednesday night when Brian Kelly said, we didn't practice good Tuesday. We didn't practice good Wednesday. He had to come out and say later in the week but Thursday was our best practice. And that was the most telling thing to me when he gets in the post game and says that our guys know what happened this week.
499-9898 is the number to call on the LaBerge hotline. We'll take more of your calls when we come back. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12681, offices in Baton Rouge. Eagle 98.1, WDGL and AC1 Baton Rouge.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day. 499-9898 is the number to call. A&M wins at 38-23. Josh is in Baton Rouge. Josh, welcome into the show.
Man, those Aggies. I don't like them. Don't like them a bit. But I want to talk about Sankey appointing that doctor. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, I didn't get to talk to you a couple weeks ago, but I wanted to follow up and see, how I was cooking a lot. I didn't get to see how did our freshman tackles, how the offensive line stack up. I appreciate y'all, and I hang up and listen.
Thank you, Josh.
One sack.
One sack. They ran the ball for 187 yards and 5.8 yards per carry. Without watching the film, it's hard. I can tell you that there were a number of times that I thought Emory Jones struggled tonight. And listen, the freshman, it happens, but I didn't think it was his best night.
Got a bad hold on that conversion.
Yeah, way behind the play.
Yeah.
That wasn't the only time.
Yeah.
But listen, those guys are the least of my worries. Him and Campbell. There's going to be moments in games. I didn't think this was Jones's best night. I didn't really get to focus in on the interior line. I'll go back and watch the game, before we come on Monday. But that was my initial impression, was that the protection was good enough. They ran the ball pretty effectively, and there were just a handful of bad plays, and I thought they got to Jones a couple of times.
Without watching the tape again, I'd give them a B grade. I thought that they played pretty well, and there was multiple times that I was more worried about what Jaden Daniels was doing, sitting back there so long versus getting hit in the face the whole game. Like I said, I thought the offensive line played pretty well. I just don't think Jaden had his best decision-making night.
Jules is in Abbeville. Jules, welcome into the show.
Good evening. I think you're pretty right on with everything you said, Charlie, although I'd have to see a replay. I think Emory was going to get stuffed, but like I said, I'd have to see a replay on that.
I'll go back and look at it again. I can't guarantee you he would have busted it, but I would bet my life on the fact that he'd have made the yard.
Yeah, well, I thought I saw somebody right there at the line of scrimmage waiting for him. But anyway.
I'll go back and watch it again.
What do you think? Matt Rule, that's definite to Nebraska, and Freeze is going to be at Auburn?
Yes. I don't know if Auburn has released something.
Rule's
I hadn't
done.
seen it. Rule's done. The Nebraska announced that officially. I think that's a fantastic hire.
Yeah.
Matt Rule, forget about what he did at Carolina. The NFL's in a completely different game. What Matt Rule did at Baylor was really, really impressive. What Matt Rule did at Temple was a miracle.
Yeah.
Okay? A miracle. So if he can duplicate that, he talked about, he used the word revered when I saw him on Game Day today. He says, I grew up, this program was revered to me. And Rule and I are roughly the same age. Nebraska was it in the 90s, for a lot of the time when, I was just getting out of college. I mean, the mid-90s, Nebraska owned it. Florida was running ramp shot over the Southeastern Conference at that time, and when they played Nebraska, they got housed. So the program is not that anymore, obviously, but I still think it's got a lot of potential. I think he's a good fit. I think he's a really good coach, not a pro coach. He's a really good college coach.
He resonates really well with young players, and you've seen everywhere he's gone, especially in the college level. He's done very well, and he's got those guys to fight for him. There's plenty of examples of college coaches not being able to do it in the NFL. It's a whole different game. It's a different personality, different mindset.
Who's been the two best coaches in the Southeastern Conference in the last 30 years? Nick Saban and Steve Spurrier. Yeah. And both
neither
of them.
one could do it in the NFL.
No.
Because there's a power control when you go from college to the NFL. And it's really tough to do. I think Matt Rule's going to be a great hire. I thought that he could have got a better job, really. But, Nebraska, I think he's going to do well.
I do, too. Hugh Freeze, listen, I think Freeze, we talked about this on the Friday show, pound for pound, I think he's a better coach than Lane Kiffin, who was the other finalist for this job, just as an on-the-field coach now, in a game planning coach and a play caller. And Lane's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think Freeze is better. I think Lane's a better recruiter. And then you got to deal with the shenanigans, which for Kiffin is mostly about, social media and stuff like that. Hugh Freeze rubs me the wrong way. I've been pretty public about that. When you ask, listen, recruiting violations, you could pile them up on a ton of coaches, okay? Right. And I'm not going to get into morality and all that stuff. None of my business. But it does aggravate the hell out of me when you tell everybody how holy and how, pious you are, and then they catch you in something that is very, very unholy, let's just say that. So he aggravates me personally. But but is he a good coach? Yes, very much.
You take personality out of it, and you line up Hugh Freeze and Lane Kiffin. Hugh Freeze is the better coach.
Yeah, that's what I think too. 499-9898 is the number to call. Paul is in Zachary. Paul, welcome into the show.
Hey, Charlie. Thanks for taking my phone call. I had two quick questions. And by the way, I'm a big fan of the show.
Thank you.
My first question is, did Kelly allude to going for that 2-point conversion when LSU had cut the game to 15? Why did he do that? And also, do you think Alabama jumps up to that 4th spot, or do you think there is a path for them? Thank you. I'll hang up, and you have a good day.
Thanks. Apparently, Hunt came up with some analytical equation that
if they went for 2 and they
it.
kicked a field goal, they still had a chance to win it. To me, that's too much. That's too far fetched.
I don't. I think they should have kicked the extra point and got you. Put it this way. If you kick without kicking the extra point, you miss this 2-point conversion. If let's say that Jenkins' touchdown had counted, okay,
you're down 8.
No, you're down 9. It's 38-29. So now you got to decide if you're going to go for 2 here, or you're going to go for 1 to make it a 1-score game. Now, in the past, this would have been automatic. You kick the extra point to make it 38-30. Now, I don't know. These coaches now are treating 4th down and 2-point conversions like it's a 2nd and 4 call from the 40-yard line in the first part of the second quarter. So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask, but I would have kicked the extra point, kept it, a 2-score game without a 2-point conversion being necessary. That's me.
And that's where I'm at, because if you kick the extra point, you still got to score 2 more touchdowns and stop them. But by giving yourself or taking that chance and failing, now you have to go for a 2-point conversion. So to me, it didn't really make any sense.
Yeah. Alabama into the playoff is technically still possible.
The way the Michigan game went and what TCU has up, I don't see it happening.
Let's take the scenario, because if USC wins the Pac-12 championship game and TCU wins the Big 12 championship game, Georgia wins the SEC championship game, and Michigan wins the Big 10 championship game, and Georgia's going to be a 2-touchdown favorite, better than a 2-touchdown favorite. Michigan's going to be better than a 2-touchdown favorite over Purdue, I think. TCU Kansas State's going to be a game. Now that's the hardest one. And we're watching the Apple Cup right now, so USC's opponent is still to be determined. Washington would scare the hell out of me if I was them, because they're pretty good. If Washington at 10-2 got into the Pac-12 championship game and beat USC, would they be ahead of Alabama? And they should be, because they have a Pac-12 title with the same amount of losses. And Alabama's biggest problem really is that they don't have a win that they can hang their hat on. Ole Miss losing in the Egg Bowl took some of the luster off of that, and that was the only top 20 team that they had beaten. Now, Texas, with their win against Baylor yesterday, probably gets it. They were 23 last week. They probably get into the top 20, but that's it. And maybe Mississippi State gets into the top 25. They didn't get into the top 25 in the college football playoff poll last week, but if you follow the AP votes down, they were somewhere in the high 30s. So, the low 30s. So maybe they sneak in. That's it for Alabama's win. You're not going to get any credit for beating Arkansas. You're not going to get any credit for beating Texas A&M. So you've got Texas and you've got Mississippi State as your top 2 wins to hang your hat on. That ain't a lot.
And if you were making the argument, if LSU won out to get into the playoff, how do you not make the same argument for Tennessee? Now, I know the Hendon Hooker's not there. They got the same amount of losses. They beat Alabama. They had a bad loss with South Carolina, but they came back and won.
I got a better team. I got a better team. If the conference champions that we just talked about, if those 4 went out, they're in, and we're done. So let's talk about if one of them falters, who's the next best team? And they're going to give you Alabama. I'm going to give you Ohio State, even with the loss today. Now let's go back and look at what their best win is. Penn State. Well, that's a win. Penn State won again today. They're going to be somewhere around 11. That's better than anything Alabama can put on the board. A win against Notre Dame, that loses a little bit because they lost again today, and they've got some bad losses, so they probably fall out of the top 25. I'm trying to think of Ohio State's next best win after Penn State and Notre Dame. I'll have to look it up. But I think Ohio State at the resume on all three of these teams, Alabama, Tennessee, and Ohio State, is you played 12 regular season games. None of you won a championship in your conference, and none of you are even playing for a championship in your conference. So let's talk about what your best wins are and what your losses are. Well, Alabama's best win is going to be Texas, which is barely going to slide into the top 20. Ohio State's best win is going to be Penn State, which will probably be inside the top 10. What's your losses? Alabama's losses are to Tennessee and LSU, both on the road. Tennessee will be somewhere probably in the high teens, and LSU will probably slide to somewhere close to that. I would imagine LSU 12 to 14, something like that. Those are your two losses. Michigan is Ohio State's loss. They're going to be number 2 in the country.
Yeah.
So if it comes down, this is me vote. I'm trying to take my Alabama bias out of it because I have no problem telling you. I went on a little mini rant on Wednesday about why Alabama deserves no consideration for the playoff, and I stand by that. But I want to be fair about it and say, well, let's look at this because a lot of people lost today. LSU lost today. Clemson lost today. Ohio State lost today. So let's take a real good look at this. And if I'm playing Ohio State's resume against Alabama's resume, it's Ohio State for me.
No, I agree with you. I mean, they played lights out all year long, and they had
their best win is better than Alabama's, and their loss is better. They've got one less loss than Alabama, and their loss is to the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah.
Now they lost at home, but I'm not. That's not going to be the deciding factor for me. So, do I think Alabama should get in? No, I didn't think so on Wednesday. I don't think so today, and I don't think that I can replace one of those conference champions that loses with Ohio State easier than I can replace them with Alabama.
There's no doubt. I mean, what I would love to see is something like that happen because you let the 2 SEC teams get in with the first 2-loss team is going to be crazy. But to your point, Ohio State has put a better resume on the field.
The next best win for Ohio State after Penn State, it's Notre Dame, and I'm trying to the next one. It's a pretty far drop. It's probably Iowa. So it gets ugly after that. But if you say, when Alabama beat LSU, they really didn't. The rest of the SEC, where are you? Are you going to give them credit for a win against Missouri, a win against Arkansas? I mean, these are all middle-of-the-road teams. Ole Miss now has 4 losses. That win looked really good at the time. Not so much, not as much now.
They're pretty close games for the most part. I mean, Alabama is not the team this year that I think deserves any other. There's a lot of times when Alabama slips up and has a couple losses, and we know how good they are.
Yeah,
this is not that Alabama team.
And we use Vegas a lot, so let me be.
They're very smart.
Let me be clear about this. Just because I think that if Alabama played pretty much any team in the country except for Georgia, Michigan, and before today, Ohio State, they would have been favored against Michigan or Ohio State before today on a neutral field, by maybe like a point. Michigan probably jumps them by, let's say it goes a point in the other direction, and Ohio State's now a dog to them because they've lost. But just because I think Alabama would be either a picket or a small favorite or a small underdog doesn't mean that they deserve to get in, because I don't want to get in the prediction business. I don't want to get into the prediction business and say, well, I know that Alabama could beat those people. I want to do it based on what they have done. And what they have done is not playoff worthy, in my opinion. And I'll go line for line through I just did. Go line for line through the resume.
So what, in your opinion, what resonates more? Is it a good win or a bad loss?
See, I don't have to decide because Ohio State's got them both ways.
Exactly. And so when you're talking about Alabama, did they get the chance to get in? Okay, they're sitting there with the same record as Tennessee, in my opinion. Tennessee has the head-to-head win. They got a worse loss. So if you look at the schedule, Tennessee's going to have a better win than Alabama because they beat a top 10 Alabama. So when you're looking at that, is it a better win that gets you there, or a bad loss that hurts you?
Tennessee against Alabama would come down to head-to-head for me.
Yeah.
Now, the committee, I don't think, would see it that way because of Hooker's injury, which I don't think is fair. But
especially when they go out and play the way they did. And I know it was Vanderbilt, but, I mean, they went out, what did you say, 53-0?
See, to me, that 56. To me, that's an easy argument. Tennessee against Alabama. Oh, well, what if they played? Oh, wait, they did. Okay, and Tennessee won. So we're done talking. But the committee is going to ding Tennessee for not having Hendon Hooker. I don't think that's particularly fair, but whatever. But I don't have to play that against Ohio State.
They didn't ding Ohio State when they won it with their third-string quarterback.
Well, that's the poster child of arguments.
Yeah.
Is if you would have, then Ohio State doesn't have that national championship flag.
Mhm.
And with Cordell Jones, they went in and won the thing. So that's a pet peeve of mine. It goes back to the NCAA basketball tournament in 2000 in Cincinnati and Kenyon Martin, where that committee made a decision that day that I still don't agree with. And unfortunately, other committees in basketball and baseball and football have all sort of taken it to gospel that, well, if they don't have that player, then we don't know what that team is. And my thing is, you don't know for sure what that team is anyway, so do it based on what you know they've done, not on what you think they can do. Because I picked a whole bunch of games today, Rich. Okay? I picked a whole bunch of games. You know how many of them I got right against the spread? About half. Okay? Really good.
Yeah.
Okay? Really good. If I go to try to pick in all of those games, you can't.
No.
Okay? Could you have picked South Carolina to beat Tennessee last week? No. Nobody had A&M to win this game by 15 points. Nobody had Michigan to win by 3 touchdowns today.
You can't base it, to your point, off of they don't have that guy, because you don't know who the next guy is.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times the next guy is Tua, who comes in at halftime and wins the national championship. There's
Right.
a lot of guys on these teams that are all heavily recruited, and the next guy up is just waiting in line.
That's true. And that's how you have to play it. But Hendon Hooker's better than Joe Milton. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Stat Check. Presented by Luba. Luba, genuine dependability.
Yardstick doesn't look as bad as the scoreboard, to be honest with you. Not that that makes anybody feel any better. LSU actually had more first downs than A&M, 25-24. Total yards, 429 for the Aggies, 384 for the Tigers. Passing yards, 155 for A&M, 197 for LSU. Rushing, 274 for A&M, 187 for LSU. Penalties, 4 for 47 for A&M, 5 for 42 for LSU. Third down conversions, monster stat in the game, 4 of 11 for LSU. They were 0 for 1 on fourth, 10 for 15 for A&M. They were 1 for 1 on fourth down. Time of possession, almost even, 31-41 for A&M and 28-19 for LSU. Individually, Jaden Daniels, 21 of 35, 189 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Connor Wegman, 12 of 18, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. Jaden Daniels was LSU's leading rusher tonight, 12 carries for 84 yards. John Emery, 9 carries for 55 yards and 3 touchdowns. Noah Kane, 11 carries for 48 yards. Devin A. Chain, 38 carries tonight, man.
Gonna be sore tomorrow.
Yeah, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. Amari Daniels added 39 yards on 4 carries. And Wegman, 7 carries for 21 yards. Rich, he converted 2 of those third downs early in the game with his feet, and they were both pretty big plays.
No, it was ones that kept those drives going. We need to get a stop. And, it was times we didn't have a spy on him. He was not a guy we were looking at to make plays with his legs. And early on in the game, he extended a couple drives that really put us behind the ball.
LSU receiving 7 catches for 69 yards from Malik Neighbors. Boutte had 4 for 43. John Emery had 3 catches for 11 yards. Moose Muhammad, 5 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. Was reminded watching him. His dad was in the stands tonight. Mushin Muhammad, who was a fantastic receiver in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers. In the first bowl game, Jared Nardo against Nick Saban, he was playing for Michigan State. That Independence Bowl that LSU won back in 1995. Defense tonight, Quillen Roy. What a game! 12 tackles.
A lot for a D tackle.
For an interior defensive lineman, you bet. 1.5 tackles for loss. Greg Brooks, 8 tackles, 5 solos. Greg Penn, 8 tackles, 3 solos, and a tackle for loss. And Micah Baskerville, 8 tackles, 2 solos. Got to tell you, as far as the linebackers go, a lot of those tackles were down the field, man.
No doubt. I mean, there was a lot of times that we were looking at it, and the game was won in the rushing game today. They controlled the game. They rushed up and down the field, and every time we were looking for it, we were getting tackles at the 5-yard mark.
Antonio Johnson, 10 tackles for Texas A&M, including a hurry, and Damani Richardson with 8 tackles and 5 solos. Punting tonight, A&M 41.3-yard average on 3 punts. Bramblett 4 for a 41.5-yard average, and 2 of those inside the 20. And that is your yardstick. We'll We'll take a break, come back, and what a day it was in college football. We'll talk. We'll give you the final scoreboard, even with a game or two still in progress. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
98.1. The Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln College Football Scoreboard. Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln, on air line under the giant American flag.
One game left in progress. The Apple Cup. Washington, ranked 13th in the nation, has just pushed it in to move the score to 41-33. That is the opening play of the fourth quarter. Extra point to come. Huskies up 8. They win, and they are in, I think I got my tiebreakers right here. Yeah. They are in the Pac-12 championship game against USC. Number 1, Georgia struggled in the first half, but pulled away in the second. They beat Georgia Tech 37-14. couple of touchdown passes for Stetson Bennett. Game up at the shoe. Number 2 Ohio State falls to number 3 Michigan. Wolverines get them 45-23. C.J. Stroud threw for 349 yards and 2 touchdowns, but also threw 2 interceptions. And Michigan, boy, they run the ball today. 252 yards on the ground, 7.2 yards per carry against Ohio State today.
Well, that's pretty solid. And if you go to the passing game, it was 50%, 12 of 24, but he hit 3 bombs on them too.
Yeah, they asked about J.J. McCarthy. 3 touchdown passes and 1 touchdown run. Let's say he stepped up today. Number 4, TCU. At some point, we'll just have to call them good. They left no doubt today. 62-14 over Iowa State. Max Duggan threw 3 touchdown passes for the Horned Frogs. They go to the Big 12 championship game. They win. They're in the playoff. Number 6 USC beat number 15 Notre Dame 38-27. They're still trying to tackle Caleb Williams. He ran
all over.
He had one of those escape jobs today. The box score will tell you that he threw for 232 yards and ran for another 35, but he accounted for 4 touchdowns, and he was just impossible to corral today. Number 7 Alabama won the Iron Bowl 49-27. Bryce Young threw 3 touchdown passes for the Tide. South Carolina pulls the upset over number 8 Clemson 31-30. Spencer Rattler threw for 360 yards and 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 costly interceptions, but give South Carolina credit. They were able to overcome them and get the win at Clemson.
They got a solid fumble right there at the end of the game that put them back in the situation to win it.
Yeah, 31-30 the final there. Number 21 Oregon State beat number 9 Oregon 38-34. Dan Lanning, a couple of weeks ago, Oregon against Washington, went for it on 4th down and 1 from about his own 29-yard line. Missed. Washington got the ball. Washington won the game. Today, Oregon had the ball, their own 29-yard line, 4th and 1. They went for it. They missed. Oregon State got the ball. They scored. They won the game. Take your analytics and go pack them away.
Didn't learn his lesson.
Apparently not. Oregon State outscored Oregon by 21-3 in the 4th quarter. A couple of key special teams gaffes for Oregon as well. There was a punt that was dropped. The punter dropped the ball at about the 2-yard line. Oregon State got the short field and punched it in. Following kickoff, bounces just shy of the goal line, and the returner thinks it's going into the end zone, but when it doesn't, he's got to field it. They only get out to the 10-yard line. That drive ended up producing the fumble.
That gives you the lucky bounce.
Yep. Number 10, Tennessee. Shutout Vanderbilt 56-0. Joe Milton in relief of Hendon Hooker threw 147 yards and a touchdown. Number 11, Penn State beat Michigan State 35-16. Again, Penn State may end up being the deciding factor if one of those conference champions falls. This will be the Ohio State win over Penn State is a better win than I think any of the one-loss teams can put up. Now, the 2-loss teams, Tennessee can put up a win against Alabama, but that's a 2-loss team and not a 1-loss team. Number 12, Kansas State punched their ticket to the Big 12 championship game with a 47-27 win over Kansas. Deuce Vaughn ran for 147 yards and a touchdown. Number 14, Utah, no problem with Colorado, 63-21. Utah finishes 9-3 in the regular season. Colorado finishes 1-11. Reports are that they have offered the job to Deion Sanders. We'll see if primetime is biting there. Number 22, UCF beat South Florida 46-39. It was Kentucky over number 25, Louisville, 26-13. Will Levis threw a couple of touchdown passes in that one. Both Louisville and Kentucky finished the season at 7-5. I'm sorry, there was one other game that was in progress. BYU is leading Stanford 28-12. That game is at the end of 3. West Virginia beat Oklahoma State 24-19. It was Army over UMass 44-7. New Mexico State beat Liberty 49-14. Liberty was a 24-point favorite in this game, lost the game by 35. Something going on with their coach?
A little bit of coaching distractions over there?
Maybe they had heard that a little bit. Maryland beat Rutgers 37-0. It was James Madison over Coastal Carolina. I was surprised at the margin here, 47-7 for James Madison. Coastal Carolina came in that game.
They've been playing good ball.
I know Grayson McCall is out, but they had played well. They won with the backup last week against Southern Miss, 2 weeks ago against Southern Miss, so was surprised at the margin in that one. South Alabama beat Old Dominion 27-20. It was Marshall over Georgia State 28-23. Western Kentucky beat Florida Atlantic 32-31. That was in overtime. East Carolina beat Temple 49-46. It was Kent State over Buffalo 30-27 in OT. Akron beat Northern Illinois 44-12. It was North Texas over Rice 21-17. Illinois beat Northwestern 41-3. Northwestern won in week 0 in Ireland over Nebraska. They did not win another game the rest of the season. They were 0 for the United States this year. They only won in Ireland. Minnesota beat Wisconsin 23-16. The Boat Rowers finished at 8-4. Purdue, all right, Gordy, I lost a bet. Boiler up 30-16. They beat Indiana for the Old Oaken Bucket and a berth in the Big Ten championship game against Michigan. Duke beat Wake Forest 34-31. It was San Jose State over Hawaii 27-14. SMU beat Memphis 34-31. Troy over Arkansas State 48-19. UAB beat La Tech 37-27. It was UTSA over UTEP 34-31. Southern Miss beat UL Monroe 20-10. Golden Eagles are bowl eligible now. UL Lafayette, same thing. They got their 6th win today. They beat Texas State 41-13. It was UNLV over Nevada 27-22. Georgia Southern outlasted App State 51-48. That was in double overtime. Middle Tennessee beat Florida International 33-28. Texas Tech beat Oklahoma 51-48. That was in overtime. Oklahoma had the ball first, missed a field goal. Texas Tech made there. Brent Venables in his first season in Norman, 6-6. How's that going to play?
It's not what they're used to.
No. Syracuse beat Boston College 32-23. It was Tulsa over Houston 37-30. Pitt beat Miami 42-16. How are they going to feel about 5-7 in Mario Cristobal land?
Another not good one.
No.
You know, that's the guy that was supposed to turn it around. They got the guy they wanted. He, from the Miami heyday, and it didn't go that well this season.
It did not. Air Force beat San Diego State 31-13. And in the 49th Bayou Classic today, in the Bayou Classic's 48 previous games, Southern won 24, Grambling won 24. Today was the tiebreaker. Southern wins 34-17, and they finish the regular season at 7-4. And that is your college football scoreboard. Game balls are next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink special. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Game Balls. Presented by WCK Foundation Repair. Support your home team. WCK Foundation Repair.
All right, you're the guest here, so I'll let you go first. Balls.
I'm giving my offensive game ball to John Emery. I thought he showed a lot of flashes tonight. He looked really fast tonight. He got his 3 scores, 9 carries, averaged over 5 a carry. I thought he played a good game.
And
Jaquelin Roy. Jaquelin Roy, anytime you get 12 tackles from an interior lineman, I mean, he was playing his butt off, and he had a motor running.
Yep. So the final numbers on Emery: 9 carries for 55 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also caught 3 passes for 11 yards. Jaquelin Roy, 12 tackles, 5 solo, 1.5 tackles for loss. You know what? Works for me.
That sounds good.
That goes double for me. I thought those 2 guys were clearly the deserving recipients of the awards tonight. Game balls tonight for LSU and Texas A&M. We'll come back and wrap this up, set the schedule for next week. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day wrapping up. Not what anybody wanted tonight for LSU, but a 9-3 regular season and an SEC Western Division title. Pretty good first year, really good first year for Brian Kelly, and it ain't over yet. Our schedule this week, there will be a Brian Kelly press conference on Monday. We'll have that for you on ESPN Radio. Our entire staff making the trek to Atlanta for the Friday shows, and, of course, Game Day will originate from first of all, FanFest for pregame, and from the Hyatt for postgame for LSU and Georgia. Our local start time here, 3 o'clock for kickoff, so we will be on the air at 10 a.m. from Atlanta. If you're making the trip to Atlanta, come by the Hyatt for some of the shows on Friday, or Fanfare or the Hyatt on Saturday. Rich, thanks to you for pulling duty tonight, and good luck to you and Alex on the expecting here any minute now, right?
Oh, we're ready for it.
As soon as you can tell us.
You told her she couldn't have the baby till tomorrow.
I
So
did. So you've been dismissed. You're released. She can have the baby whenever she's ready. Thanks for Michael and Paul for manning the board here tonight. Final score once again: Texas A&M 38 and LSU 23. I'm Charles Henniger. From all of us here at the flagship, this has been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Football fans, you can make this a Thanksgiving to remember with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because get this, when you bet an NFL same-game parlay from now through November 28th, all customers can get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose. Just bet an NFL SGP or SGP Plus of at least $20, and the bigger your bets on these same-game parlays, the more that you get back in free bets. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a larger payday. Hello, holiday.